Welcome to the second to the last week of the Acts of Leadership series. I hope that this has been a great time for you, and I hope next week we're able to put a great bow on this series. But this week I want to zero in on, for me, what is a fantastic passage. As a pastor, as someone who is engaged in leadership as just part of my lifestyle, this is the kind of passage that's easy for me to geek out on. I could talk about it for days and days and days. There's so many things that I would love to unpack and unravel and talk about and dig into, but you just can't have the time to do that in a Sunday morning service, no matter how much time you have to preach. I really enjoyed getting to start the sermon with a video of me sitting down with Pastor John Steer. A lot of you guys know him. If you don't know him, he was my predecessor. He pastored faithfully here for 30 years, and he's the pastor who I replaced. I love it that he is still a part of our church. He's engaged in ministry, he and his lovely wife, Gretchen, and that says a lot about him. That says a lot about our church. It's a rare thing that we get to enjoy, but I wanted to sit down and chat with him because he has earned, through his life experience, some insight into this passage that I haven't yet earned. I don't know what it's like at the end of a long run to say, I'm going to have to go. You got to get ready for what's coming next. So for me, it was a real treat to listen to him, and I hope that it was a treat for you. Now, this passage, though it centers on a pastoral type leadership, church leadership, I don't think we should limit ourselves to that, because what we see is a profile of leadership in the way of Jesus. If you're a little league coach, if you just want to be a good neighbor, if you're a mom or a dad, if you're a boss at work, if you have influence with anyone, I think you owe it to you to let the richness and the nuggets of wisdom and truth inside of this passage shape how you see yourself. After all, we're all looking to somebody for leadership. We all have the responsibility to lead ourselves well. And every single one of us, at some point in our life, to some degree or another, we have people who are looking to us for leadership. So let's dig in and think well and think intentionally about leadership in the way of Jesus. Now, again, like I said, there's a lot we could talk about, but this is something I'd really like for you all to zoom in on and double click on, because you are a small group. One of the things we talked about is that it's not just what happens in big group, it's what happens in small groups that's important as well. Paul emphasizes, he's recounting his life to the leaders of the church of Ephesus, the way that he lived before them. I taught you publicly, and I went from house to house. I think that means that he went to house churches, and he also went to smaller, more intimate gatherings with people. That's what you're getting to experience now. When we gather together in a large group, it's profound, it's important. We should never stop doing that. We can get inspiration there. We can get insight there. But real life change, real transformation happens up close. It happens as a result of the kind of relationships and the mutual submission and mutual leadership that we experience with each other when you have a high degree of trust. And when you have healthy expectations in your relationship, you can drop your guard, you can be real, you can talk about what's going on in your life, how you're trying to follow Jesus in a particular area of your life, and maybe you're struggling to have enough faith, maybe you're struggling to have enough courage, maybe you're struggling to have enough insight to know how to take your next step. You have people who are there with you, who have your back, who are cheering for you, who are praying with you, who know the real you, who you don't have to fake with, but you can be real with and be messy with. That's why it's in the kind of environment that you're sitting in right now that real life change can happen. Real change, real transformation happens, and it happens up close. Real ministry happens up close. And so I'd love for you guys just to spend some time thinking about that, wrestling with that. What kind of relationship do you want to have? How far do you want this to go? Are you willing to be the kind of person and to let other people be the kind of person in this environment that you're in, where you can do that together? Because when we do, when we're able to experience that, we find that we experience tremendous transformation. All of the New Testament, all the, hey, love one another, do this, don't do that, all the commands that we read in the New Testament, they weren't written for us to think about as individuals. They were written for us to contemplate and to live out in community. And that's what you're getting to do right now. I hope you have a great discussion. I hope you have a great group. We'll see you next week.